Okay, so let's go through and define these together. The first one, positive numbers. We're also going to look that up as positive integers. Okay? Positive integer is a number that is greater than 0. Now, these are all the numbers we've dealt with so far, right? Anything greater than 0. So, the opposite of that, what do you think negative numbers are? Okay, any number less than 0. Now, when we have positive numbers, do I always have to show a positive sign?
Yes. Yes.
You write all of your numbers with positive signs.
No.
No. A positive number does not have to have that positive sign. But a negative number must have a negative sign. So think about it. When you write all of your numbers, you don't always write them with the positive sign. But it's kind of like that decimal point behind a whole number. We know it's there. Okay, what about the number 0? What is 0? What do we call it? Do you remember what we call it? Think about when we're multiplying 2-digit numbers. When we move to the second row, we put a... We also call it a... There you go. So we're going to call this a placeholder. It has no positive or negative value. No positive or negative value. Okay? Yes? Oh, it's just my pen picked up negative value. Okay. So when we talk about integers, an integer is any number and we're going to do a little example. So this would be -4, and actually I'm going to put some dots before it because we know it continues how far? Forever, to infinity. Okay, so any number, and it continues without end. Positive or negative? Mm-hmm. All right, real quick, make sure you got like 2 different color highlighters or something you can use real quick. Just something else because we're going to label our little number line right here. Like if you got a pen or, you know, something else you can use. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to label, of course we have 0 right here in the middle, right? I'm good. I'm not. 0 is what? It's not positive or negative. Okay? Everything to the right is what? Positive. Very good. Everything to the right is positive. And everything to the left is negative. So when it asks us, numbers to the left of the 0 are always negative. And numbers to the right are always positive. All right, I'm going to wait just a minute, let you guys catch up with me. So numbers to the right are always positive. Numbers to the left are always negative. Now, do you remember as we were moving down the number line, what happens as we move to the right? What happens to the value? It gets bigger, okay? So if it always gets larger as we're moving to the right, look at this statement. A positive number is always blank than a negative number. It's always greater than. I love it. Positive number is always greater than a negative number. You are absolutely correct. 0 is neither negative or positive is fine. It doesn't matter which way you put it. It is neither negative or positive. It is just 0. He holds his place. Okay, what do you think about the next one? 0 is blank than all negative numbers. Think about the value. You think 0 would be less? It is greater. Okay, 0 is always greater than. Remember when we talked about moving to the right on the number line? If I'm moving to the right, 0 is right here. So 0 is going to be less than positive numbers, but it's always going to be greater than a negative number. Would you rather have 0 or owe somebody something? 0, okay? Because owing somebody something is going to put you in that negative. Yeah, it's going to put you in debt. Love it. Real life word. Yeah. Okay, so thinking the opposite of that, a negative number is always blank than a positive number. Less than. See, I told you guys would like this. It's much better than fractions, isn't it?
Oh, so we're done doing fractions?
Well, learning them, yeah. We're not going to forget them. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, we've talked about our number line. Next thing we're going to talk about are real life situations where we can use integers to express a value. Okay? If you're thinking about football and you have a 10-yard loss, how would we write that as either a negative or positive integer? Negative 10. Because they lost 10 yards, that would be represented by negative 10. 4 inches above normal would be positive 4. Do I have to write that positive sign? Remember, you don't have to. When you're writing it like this, it's kind of good to get in the habit of it just so you know I'm talking about positive 4. But 4 without that positive sign is still a positive 4. Okay? All right, Kevin brought cupcakes for everyone at lunch. He had 3 left over. Write an integer to represent the number of cupcakes left over. Positive 3. He had 3 left over. Okay? What if I were to tell you, let's say we were scuba diving and we dove 50 feet in the water. What would that be?
50.
Negative. Think about it. A little bit of information. Did you know that some places, and around us, New Orleans is for one, when we talk about elevation is always done at sea level. So sea level would be like our 0. If you turn the number line sideways, sea level would be 0. So what would be above sea level? What are some things you can think that would be above sea level? Mountains. Our elevation is actually above sea level, okay? But guess what? New Orleans is actually below sea level. They're in a bowl. So would their elevation be a positive or negative? It'd be a negative, right, because they're below sea level. When you go to the beach, to me, I know it's weird, I think of math when I'm at the beach, but as you're walking down to the water's edge, if you like to dig holes at the beach, how many of you like to dig holes in sand? What happens if you start digging down in the sand? You'll hit water. Okay, guess what that is? The sea level. So as you think about that sand going down to where the water is, that water would be like 0 at your number line. Okay, when you dig your hole, you're going down towards 0, but everything above it is positive. Okay? So start thinking about, like, we're going to do some practice where we're writing integers for real life situations. Okay? If you lost $20 in the parking lot, you would be sad, but what would that be? Negative 20. Okay? Alright, now let's real quick, the next thing we're going to talk about and the last thing we're going to talk about today is how we graph these on a number line. Okay? So we have negative 8, 5.5, negative 2 1/4, 0 and 3. I'm going to go ahead and put 0 in the middle. Okay? What's going to be my first positive value I put over here in order? I've already done 0. Well, look at this list. 3. Very good. So I'm going to put 3 here. What else do I have that's positive? 5.5. Okay. What about negative? What's going to come first? Okay, negative 2 1/4. Now remember, when we do this, it's kind of like a mirror. This 0 is our mirror, and we're going to look at our number line opposite. Okay, it's kind of like we folded it in half. So negative 1 is closest to 0, and then it gets larger. The digits get larger, but the value actually gets smaller. Very good. So what would be after the negative 2 1/4? Negative 8. Okay? So we put these in order on a number line. The smallest value is negative 8, then negative 2 1/4, then 0, then 3, and 5.5. You're just putting them in order. Now, if we will do this later this week when we compare them. Which one is greater, negative 8 or negative 2 1/4? Very good, because it's less negative.
I'm smart.
Would you rather owe someone $8 or $2.25? That has a greater value, okay? All right, let's try the next one. 0's in the middle. Okay? What positive numbers do we have? Do we have one before 3? 1 and 7/8. Let's do that one first. So this is 1 and 7/8. Okay, then we have 3. Now the rest of them are negative, right? Which one's negative 4? Okay. Then negative 6. You got it. Negative 10.75. I told you. It'd be a nice break. All right, do the next one on your own real quick, and then we'll talk about it. No, there's not a 0, but it's okay. Yeah, go ahead and put 0 in the middle. I just realized these are already what? They're already in order. So negative 2 is our only negative value. We know that's always less than 0. Oh, no, it's not. Then 0, then 2.2, 8.5, 15, and 20.
Well, thank you.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions about the number line? We're good? Yeah, we're going to do some practice right now. Go ahead, grab your textbook. We're looking at page 421. You may want to go ahead and get a sheet of paper real quick, too, okay? Okay, guys, grab a sheet of paper. You're looking on page 421. Hey. Okay.
What page?
421. Okay. While you are doing this, I'm going to go ahead and write up at the top of the page the problems I want you to work on.
That's what you were doing?
Yes, 1 through 6 and then 10 through 21. Okay? Okay, let's remember, guys, we are still recording. Okay, let's look at the first section. Okay? First section, you are writing an integer for each situation. So if you had a football team and they had a 15-yard gain, what would that be? Positive 15. Okay? I'm just going to kind of skip through. I'm going to do one from each section with you. Alright, number 4. Alright, graphing each set of integers on a number line. So I'm just going to draw a number line. Put 0 in the middle. And the numbers I'm looking at are -3, -9, and 7. Okay? So where's 7 going to be? Positive, so it's going to be on the right side of my number line. What about -3? Which one's going to be closer to 0? -3 or -9? -3. Very good. Then -9. Okay? And let's get to the bottom. I think actually you're okay, because, yeah, you're good. These are the two type of problems you're going to do for all of these. You're going to go to the bottom, you're going to do some more situations where all you have to do is write the integer that would represent that, and then putting them in order on a number line. Yes.
Number 2, wouldn't it be -120?
No, it'd actually be -2, because you're talking about hours. It doesn't ask in minutes, it just says how many hours. Okay.